The recent standoff between India and China is a matter of concern. The posturing by China is also a testimony to its long drawn plan for occupation of Tibet and internal quagmires which have been created due to the pandemic are also a reason why it has done what it has done, whether it is the LAC or it's in Hong Kong or trying to contest in South China Sea and talk about Taiwan. Diplomatically, India has an advantage that at this particular point in time, not only we have many friends in the world, we also have huge economic leverage and huge economic gains to make post this shifting of manufacturing and trade from China to other countries. And India, if it plays its hands well, will be able to partake a major part of that. And that is the worry, one of the worries which China has. The other worry China has is that India is part of various strategic world bodies and has also got a high position at the WHO, which is going to monitor this investigation. It also has been invited to a G7, and India is seen as a strategic partner with not only the US, and quite certainly our overtures with Russia are also good. So that does not suit the overall geopolitical thinking of China. While at one hand, politically within the state, it wants to keep that power with that Communist Party. On the other hand, geopolitically, it tends to get isolated further as it goes on. While Australia has been able to deny the economic leverages which China sought, the same condition we also have to grow and mature into. So it's all about the decisions we take as a country now on, diplomatically, geopolitically, and economically. And of course, when we take these three right decisions, our military infrastructure growth, our military alignments will also take shape. Currently, whatever GDP we are allocating at less than 3 to our defense can revive as early as next year, and we can then have further plans for how to go about our major capital purchases and acquisitions and how to get manufacturing of defense going on. Having said that, this skirmish is not going to go anywhere. Post Doklam, as mentioned that time 2 years ago, that this will repeat itself and it will also repeat itself with multiple transgressions, and that exactly has happened. And why I say that is that China will never cede territory. China will never be able to think itself through to reconcile a border, reconcile the LAC. So it is not to its advantage. For many countries with which it has disputes, except Russia, which is a different ball game, China has not considered to a delineation of ground and earmarking a boundary thereafter. So that is the stated position which China has. Through Tibet, it has created an elbow space which keeps it engaged with India directly today. And it's up to India to see how geopolitically it can counter that particular strand. Also, China this time is going to be permanent. I'm not too sure that in the locations which are along the LOC or in depth, China is going to go away before these winters. I'm quite sure they are in for a long stay. Post 2018 mergence of Chengdu and Lanzhou military regions into TMC, this command has become very effective. It has got much more lethal and potent weapon systems deployed in Tibet. Whether the reach of these weapon systems goes to India or beyond is a thing to see and to analyze. But I'm quite sure these deployments are permanent in nature. To support this deployment, there has to be a deployment of its regular troops, and the regular troops will come to those pockets in LOC, on LAC, where they are more confident to deploy for a longer time. The surface communication airheads of China are on the plateau and it's easier to mobilize. For us, it's a difficult ask. So India needs to be very sure that this coming summers, which is already started, we are able to pump up the adequate amount of infrastructure construction material, able to put in more reserves, whether the reserves come from infantry formations or from armored formations, which is most likely. And we should be able to build up and close all pockets where we expect China to come in and transgress. And also at the same time, keeping that ambiguity of LAC, be proactive in those sectors where we are at a position of advantage, and we should be able to divert China's military prowess to those sectors as well, if possible. And I can only wish at this stage that while diplomatically and politically we are very mature, and statements coming from our political hierarchy and also the diplomatic channels is very mature, And we are engaging with all countries on those two levels to be able to leverage against China. Militarily, it's a different ball game because you're not too sure when a particular situation may lead to a kinetic situation. And while we may refrain, China, to have a face saver, may still go into a conflict. And while it goes into a conflict, obviously the blame has to be put on India. So the IW machinery will show the kinetic to be initiated by India, and that's what we must guard against. And also be very proactive through our own IW and also involving our friends with their int capacities and also their capacity for surveillance, including satellites, to be able to discern the Chinese picture at length and to be able to take countermeasures and also proactive measures along the LAC. At this stage, as army men would say, that contingency, the worst one, should be prepared for, and our armed forces, including the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, who are very proactive, and certain elements of Navy which may come into use in the Pangong region, we should be able to position our troops better, position our reserves better, and our men should be there guarding our sovereignty at all their might at their disposal. And I'm quite sure the nation will support them. And having said that, I only have one word to say, that we are proud of our men who are there on the borders. We are proud of our airmen who are helping the cause of lifting troops and logistics. And we are sure and sanguine that our armed forces, if it comes to for a blow to a blow, will be ready for that. But I'm quite sure and certain that the diplo-political realm will be able to pull it off to our advantage. And let's see how it goes, whether China gets a face saver without a conflict. And the only other caution politically and geopolitically is that let's not give it a hand for any leverage, whether it's in the WHO, WTO, or any other place. This is the time when it's weak. It's a time when all the other nations are going to outcast, so to say, China. We should remain positive with China. We should be friendly in attitude. But insofar as our interests are concerned, they should not be compromised just because of a request of China, and certainly not because of this arm twisting which it thinks it can indulge in. So my last thing is to my countrymen at the borders, at the LAC and the LC both, because you see a lot of these jibes coming in from Pakistan as well. So it's not going to be a two-front war for sure, and Pakistan can just relax, because to consider Pakistan, it doesn't require the Indian army to react. A part of it is sufficient. And insofar as China is concerned, if we block the avenues through adequate reserves and also create opportunities to our advantage along the LAC, I'm quite sure militarily China will get the message clear, and it will understand that it's not easy to go into a skirmish order. So let's see how it goes. And my Jai Hind to all the Indian Armed Forces which are deployed on the LAC and the LC. God bless you all.